And another day and another piece of Manchester City news. Nolito has left for Sevilla. I think that's become long overdue already this summer. He signed for the perennial UEFA Cup winners. Obviously this year, a small team from Manchester won it. But normally, it's their trophy. Sevilla have signed the Spanish international for €9 million on a 3-year contract. And I think it's probably a good move for all parties, if we're being totally honest. It's been a very mixed year for Nolito at Manchester City. A really strong tale of two halves of the season, where he started off pretty well. Let's go back to the very start. I mean, in general, it was a decent move at the start. It was £14 million, which for Manchester City was absolutely peanuts. He played a lot of games, scored 3 goals pretty early on in his first 3 games, I think, and scored 6 in total in 30. But his games obviously dropped off massively after Christmas. Now, I've got a theory in general that Pep took a look at the squad last summer and decided the one thing we were lacking for him mainly was a pace and threat out wide. And he obviously bought Sane. He bought Gabriel Jesus, who could play out wide for January. He bought, obviously, Nolito as well. He bought basically attacking players who could play across the front. And Nolito was a very reliable, he was a very safe option, I think, in general, because he was 30 years old, 29 or 30 years old at the time. He obviously a Spanish international, did his best season of his career. He was kind of guaranteed to be a decent little player, and he was pretty good at the start. I don't think we lost the game at all when he played more than 30 minutes in general. And initially, he looked very intelligent. He linked up with Aguero pretty nicely. He seemed to be quite effective, though he got a little bit repetitive. And I think everything kind of fell through when he started headbutting people. He kind of got a little bit too carried away in the Manx spirit and got a little bit too Friday night, is how we can describe it. Started nutting people, lost his composure, and after that, he couldn't get back into the team. I think in general, he was bought as a fail-safe for Leroy Sané, someone to keep Sané on his toes in case Sané didn't settle initially. And as soon as Sané got over his injury, I think it became pretty obvious then he wasn't going to get back in the team, Nolito, because Sané obviously is an explosive young talent, one of the most exciting young talents in world football. His impact, his potential, his development was always going to take priority to Nolito, and that's just the way it is. I don't think Nolito necessarily helped himself getting himself sent off, and generally being a little bit awkward. And obviously he started bickering toward the press at the end of the season about how his daughter looks like she's been living in a cave. Mate, I've been living here for 31 years, and I know what this cave feels like, but it's our cave, it's our home. I don't mind it, you know. Obviously it's different for you, but sometimes it's best to have a little bit of integrity. That's all I'll say to you there, mate. But I think it was always going to play out this way. I think he was either going to do really well and stay, or most likely for 14 million for one season, which, as I said earlier, is nothing for City. We'll get some games out, get some goals out of him, but he'll probably just disappear the season after. And I think that's the way it's played out. That's the way City probably expected it to play out, and that's fair enough. He obviously wants to get into the squad for Spain in the World Cup, so he wants first team football. He wants to go home and get a little bit of sun on his daughter's face, and that's fine. I'm quite happy with this. I think in general, I would like that he went, and he has gone now, obviously. Navas as well, he's gone too. So it leaves space now for, if it's not Sanchez, for someone like Roberts to put a claim down to be the extra man out wide. And maybe it leaves space for a League Cup appearance for someone like Jadon Sancho or Brahim Diaz, which can only be a good thing. I don't want players like Nolito sat around the bench moaning in general, not being happy. I would rather some young, fresh blood there, someone who actually wants to get on the pitch and not really isn't happy being on the bench, because I don't think any player's happy being on the bench, but someone more accepting, working a little bit hard to get there. So yes, Nolito's gone now. At least he brought this wonderful meme. Probably the only good thing he did. No, not the only good thing, but the best thing he'll be remembered for. So what do you make of this? I'm just gutted that my song that I coined, I can't sing that anymore. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this move. If it's a good one for City, if it's a good one for Nolito, and who do you want to see replace him? I think you're probably going to say Sanchez, aren't you? Anyway, subscribe if you haven't already. Go and watch the reaction video, which is somewhere in my head now, for Douglas Luiz, and also the one for Kyle Walker, if you haven't already. Big like on this video, even if it's just to see a little bit of sunshine on Nolito's face, or Nolito's daughter's face again. Anyway, see you later, guys. Nolito from Celta Vigo, something.